So, Hen, you are right. Like, this Halliburton thing has overshadowed the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions. And a dominant year, MVP season from SGA. Henry, you've sang the Thunder's praises all year long, talking about how they had the chance to go down as one of the all-time dominant teams. So I ask you, now that Game 7 is over and they are the champs, what's your assessment of our new champion?
I mean, I don't think I feel that differently now than I did 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. They're still one of the best teams ever. Numbers don't lie, but I'm not going to throw them in the conversation with, 0-1 Lakers, 13 Miami Heat, 86 Celtics, the best teams ever. They're not, even though the numbers point in that direction. They were dominant throughout the regular season. They are an all-time great defense. If you want to argue this OKC defense against the '08 Celtics, you want to argue it against the 04 Pistons, sure, that's an argument. But as one of the all-time great teams, they're not in that tier. They're in the tier with last year's Celtics. And honestly, I think I probably put last year's Celtics a slight tick above them, I would say. But they're certainly one of the most dominant teams of the modern era. The numbers point out that they are the most dominant team we have seen since the KD Warriors. And although I think the Celtics last year were a better team than this Oklahoma City Thunder team this year, you could argue this OKC team was a little bit more dominant. Although, Boston last year had a much easier path in the playoffs. Like they went 4-5-4-4 or 5. No, it's 5-5-4-5, right? Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, because the Heat and the Cavs took a game off of them. But they are one of the best teams of the modern era. You could throw them in the conversation with last year's Celtics. And I guess maybe the 2020 Lakers, a couple other teams maybe, for the best team that we have seen since the KD Steph Warriors. But I'm not going to lie, they were not quite as dominant in the playoffs as I thought they would be. I thought they would perhaps be a little bit more dominant in the I picked the Lakers to win the title. Stupidly, that was me just trying to be a little bit ornery, but in my heart of hearts, if I actually had to put money on it, I would have bet on OKC to win the title. And I would have bet on them to win the title a little bit easier than they did. Round one was a cakewalk, but Ja Morant got hurt. Memphis wasn't a serious team. Really seriously tested by Denver. I thought Denver would push them. Didn't think they'd push them to 7. Minnesota, they breezed past way easier than I thought they would. But then the finals against a frisky Indiana team with a compromised Halliburton in some games pushed them to 7, and frankly could have won the series if Halliburton did not rupture his Achilles.
I'm here to defend the Celtics' honor because I figured we'd get into this, and I just want to say I don't think you can say that the Thunder path was much more difficult than what the Celtics went through. The Memphis Grizzlies were just straight up not a real basketball team, and we can all agree on that. Denver, I can give them that, but Denver pushing them
Denver's
7
the one team
with
that's more
an interim coach is
and
interesting.
An injured Aaron Gordon.
Injured Aaron Gordon. I understand the Celtics got some injury luck along the way, obviously, and that's why the Celtics aren't killed. But I will say, Halliburton missed game 3 and 4 against the Celtics, and Halliburton was compromised in some of these games, and it took them 7. And then the Celtics dispatched a Dallas team that gave OKC nightmares last year in 5 with Luka and Kyrie and company. So I actually think the Celtics run in the Thunder were more dominant in the regular season than last year's Celtics, but last year's Celtics took care of business more. Like, you can say the path was easier or whatnot. I've just soured a little bit on Oklahoma City needing 7 to beat this Pacers team. And that's not to say they weren't the best team in the league all year. They were. I'm not surprised that we're here saying they're the champs. But to be a bit of a hater, and listen, this is how we do this now. We talk about how a team won a championship. It's not they won the championship. We're good.
I know. Don't you hate it? Don't you hate that
I know.
This is
so
the
so
world
that's
that we've created?
that's the way the table is set. So I'm going to jump in and say how Oklahoma City won this NBA Finals in the NBA Finals was not that impressive, and it going 7 is a bit damaging and kind of puts a little bit of a damper on them. And you can say all these mean things to me and call me a hater. This is just the world we live in. So I'm going to jump in and say, you know what? If the Celtics were Mickey Mouse frauds and we say the bubble Lakers were Mickey Mouse frauds, why is Oklahoma City going to be exempt from this? That took them 7 games to dispatch a team that I heard from Knick fans, I heard from Celtics haters, wasn't very good. Clearly the Pacers must not be that fucking bad if they pushed this all-time great team. Maybe the all-time great team is just a really, really great team. Just saying.
You're being a little bit of a hater, but I get it. You're allowed to be that level of hater. I think it's completely within your bounds. I just think the way Oklahoma City does it is
it's more fundamentals. I
actually we started recording pretty quickly. We don't know who won MVP. I would almost guarantee. Okay, Shea won it. Yeah, duh. Shea was very good in these finals. He wasn't extraordinary. He was good. He was good. He didn't. I will say defensively tonight, I think he was really fantastic. And then career high playoff assists for him as well, 12. I think he really grew as a passer. But as a scorer, what he's known for, those kind of step back threes, dominating in the mid range game, getting to the basket. Not super efficient in this series, simply not. And they're such a weird team because in modern NBA history, I don't think we've ever seen a team quite like this. And as I said at the top, an all-time great defense. You cannot take that away from them. They are an all-time great defense. But a weird all-time great defense, because when you think about all-time great defenses, you think of anchored by Tim Duncan, Ben Wallace, Kevin Garnett. Chet Holmgren's a fantastic rim protector, and we'll see what he turns into, but this was an all-time great defense because of Cason Wallace and Shea and Lou Dort and Alex Caruso, guys on the perimeter, and that's what won them the game in the third quarter. Turnover after turnover after turnover, getting out in transition and completely strangling the Indiana offense.
And I think that's what's important. Not important, but when I'm comparing the champs from last year to the champs now, Thunder win games by getting in passing lanes, forcing turnovers, and playing defense. And the Celtics won from really good shooting. And there's a way that you
look excellent defense as well, but not all.
But the Celtics, but come on, you ask an average fan why the Celtics won the championship last year.
Yes.
They don't talk about the defense. I know the defense was not all time, but it was great as well. But that's not what the pundits say. That's not what they're known for.
Yes.
So Oklahoma City winning by this tough-nosed brand of basketball when they were down 30 in Game 6 just to me feels a little bit interesting. But
yeah, it was an interesting finals. It was a weird finals, as you just pointed out. This team got their doors blown off in Game 6. Doors blown off in a way that we usually, I guess the Celtics got their doors blown off in Game 4 in Dallas, but that was a different situation. Up 3-0 is different from up 3-2. It's a very, very different circumstance. So you're right. It was a weird finals, but it does feel like the right team won. After Cleveland went out unspectacularly, and obviously after the Tatum injury, it felt like this was Oklahoma City's chance to steal it. And as soon as they were able to conquer the Nuggets, I think everybody and their mom was like, okay, is it your time now, OKC? I know we're talking about you as a long-term future great team, but you want to know what? Windows close quickly, and this is an incredible opportunity to get one. And they did. And there were bumps along the way. It was far from perfect. As I said, Shea was not quite MVP level. I thought he had a very good playoff run, not an elite all-time great playoff run. I would hope that Shea would have had a playoff run that would have firmly cemented him as the second best player in the NBA. I think he probably is the second best player in the NBA, but That is not consensus. And if he had an elite playoff run and performed as efficiently in this run as he did in the regular season, I think it would have been consensus he's number 2. I don't think that's the case right now.
Yeah, I just want to check his free throw numbers in the finals real quick, because you talked about the efficiency not being there. I just want to see. Come on, StatMuse, show me the free throws. What are you doing?
Oh, he got a lot of free throws in this series.
Well, that's what I'm alluding
do not doubt
to.
that.
I'm just trying to see how.
I'm trying to pull it up right now. He averaged 30 in the playoffs, which again is pretty impressive. But he 30 on 47% from the field. Ooh, 29% from 3. And then in the regular season, he was 30, just shy of 33, 52% from the field, 37.5% from 3. So yeah, that's a significant dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
see in the finals, he averaged 10 free throws a game.
So again, that's
he was still getting the whistle.
Still
And you have to, I guess, credit him for that. He was still getting the regular season Shea whistle.
Yeah, tonight he had 29 points. He was 8 of 27. That's gross.
8 of 27. He had I guess 14 of 30 is not too bad. A 9 of 21, a 7 of 15, 9 of 20. Again, not woefully inefficient games, but when you look at some of his regular season games, there were a lot of 14 for 20s in there. There were a lot of 16 for 25s. There were a lot of obscenely efficient games that he had this regular season. And in the playoffs, in the finals, again, still a great finals from him. But 44% from the field, 24% from 3. That is still going to be an open question. Who's the second best player in basketball? And there was an outside chance if Shea was so dominant in this playoff run that he could have overtaken Jokic in a lot of people's minds. I think that opportunity did present itself to him.
Yeah.
And as I said, he was very good, but he did not accomplish that.
He's kind of in a situation that Tatum found himself in. What this final showed me about Oklahoma City is that they are a great team. You know, it's not like Shea carried. You know, guys stepped up. J-Dub stepped up. Chet was fine. Chet didn't blow me away.
Chet was. I would say Chet was fine. You're right, because Chet defensively all series long I thought was fantastic, and up until Game 7 was pretty abysmal offensively. He was really bad on offense for the first.
Cason Wallace, like the guys did what they had to do. Wiggins, like it was a team effort. There never felt to me like wow, Shea really took over, and he was just dominant. And you know, that's okay. Like good teams, great teams win championships, and the Thunder are a great team. Though I'm being a hater, I'm not trying to say they're not a great team. By the way, I'm just saying.
No, I know.
We thought they were going to cakewalk, and they did not cakewalk.